What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. Welcome to another morning view towards the end of the week, Thursday, 28th of March. Happy Thursday. Hope you guys are doing good. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments. Let us know where you are. Let us know how you're feeling. And really, what's your thoughts going into the rest of the season now? You know what I mean? Players will be back. Players will be back from international break. They're going to be prepped and primed and ready to go, man, for the rest of the season, because there's a lot to fight for. So big up to everyone in the chat. 225 people straight away through the door. 52 likes before we even got started. You guys know what it is now. We're fed up of saying it. We know what it is. You know what it is. 250.
I'm not fed up of saying it at all, Flex. Click the like button.
True.
Guess what you got to do? Never forget. In fact, look on the screen right now. Little thumbs up thing pops up. Like, subscribe with the notification bell. Share. Who's your favorite singer? Share the button. If I could turn back time.
In love after love.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sorry to do that to you lot in the morning. Sorry, but he said share in it. Michael just randomly, just in the chat, member of the channel, big up Michael, says Flex and Owens always predict a 2-1 safe score whenever the going gets tough and they have to be on the fence. When the going gets tough,
we win.
They predict their team's going to win. Yeah. But big up to you, Michael. Lil Yo-Yo says, you heard the Ten Hag Defense League. For all the people in the middle, join the Ten Hag Defense League. Not Ten Hag out or Ten Hag in. Join us, Fleck and Owen, says Lil Yo. He's been a member for 19 months as well. Double A says, still undecided camp on Ten Hag. Would wait to the end of the season. Just reading out some of your comments here. Stylo says, big up absolutely everyone. Joe Blacknam says, Ten Hag Defense League, kicking fences down. Run that, says Caudry. Kenny Fan TV says, let's go. Lil Yo-Yo, of course, I've mentioned him. Kristen says, Ten Hag Defense League. This is a real thing. Ash Odie says, it's true. No press for Maguire this time around. Daniel Luciano with a super chat straight after says, the skip talk with Abby was amazing. Yeah, a lot of people watched that video yesterday and a lot of comments flying in. Abby had to hold that. Like, she had a lot to say. And it was only, do you know what it was? She was on 5 with me yesterday, me and Anton. And I just thought, hang on a minute, before you go, actually, no, you're not getting away with this. You need to come and be held accountable. You had a lot to say about Kobbie Mainoo. And in our DR chat as well, she's always, stop, throughout the weeks when I've been gassing him in the months and stuff. Just doing that hater thing that we've been calling out. Yeah, she's been one of the chief people. And she said, listen, sorry. Yeah.
She's a big hater. That's what she is. She is a big hater and it was a very strange apology, Flex. Because yes, she admitted she was wrong, but then started going, but it's giving Arsenal.
Yeah, and your fans are just
clingy. It's clingy, giving Arsenal. I'm like, Abby.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all right to admit you're wrong. It's okay.
Exactly, and just leave it at that.
It's
exactly.
Fine.
So big up to everyone who watched that. If you haven't watched it, check it out later. Joe Blackman says, don't listen to Lil Yo-Yo. Ten Hag Defense League kick fences down. And Keegan says, Ten Hag Defense League demands a new contract. People going in.
Yeah.
Right. What are we going to talk about today? Branthwaite move. Man United, this Jarrad Branthwaite situation won't die down. If anything, it's ramping up. It usually happens. I remember last year with Hoyland, throughout the lead up into the summer months, you started to get that, man, I'm really interested in this kid and and Atalanta want this. And it became a crazy back and forth. But you can feel that something's there. You can feel that something's there. We're going to talk about that. Summer striker move. We want to talk about that as well. And Casemiro potentially on the move as well. And more praise, even more praise to the haters' despair for Kobbie Mainoo from Gareth Southgate as well. So much to get into. But let's get to the top of the show with Jarrad Branthwaite. What's the reports claiming?
Yes, so this comes from the Telegraph from Mike McGrath saying that Jarrad Branthwaite is being looked at by Manchester United as a possible summer target in one of their priority areas to bolster for the next season. Branthwaite is highly regarded at United as one of the most promising homegrown prospects at centre-back. Would you agree with that, Flex? Is he one of the most promising homegrown prospects at United? I mean, you mentioned, the kind of, and you mentioned like the whole Hoyland, like we were linked with him for a while, weren't we, towards the end of the close season, then it became like it was a thing.
Yeah.
But then In the same vein, we were also very heavily linked with Kim Min-jae, and that ended up just going into nothing. He ended up going to Bayern. But what do you make of him? Have you been impressed? When he was at Old Trafford a few weeks ago, people going to see, this is why.
Yeah,
you were there. What did you think?
Yeah, I was a bit less like I didn't look at that performance against Man United. I know we beat them comfortably 2-0 in the end, and people were like, the football, we only got 2 penalties, whatever. But he looks competent. He looks competent. He gets about the pitch well. He looks good in the tackle. He reads the game quite well. He looks good on the ball. I don't know. I feel like he could be someone that, if we got him, he could develop from there. And then you go, okay, this is what I'm not hugely mad. I do think he's competent. I don't think he's terrible. I do quite like him. I just don't. In my head, I built up the type of centre back that I wanted,
right?
And it wasn't necessarily. Well, like I say, I keep likening the defender that we need to like a Saliba, a Gabriel, a Konate, Todibo, Araujo, like just even but look like someone like Mickey van der Ven as well. Look how quick he is; he gets across the pit. Like I want that dominant. I'm not sure if he's that, but again, I'm not against it just because he's from Everton and they're down the bottom of the league. I know there's value there. I know there's players. John Stones did the same thing. So and look at the type of player he is and has become. So I'm not against him. I think he's a decent footballer.
Do you think that's what it is? Right? Do you think that's what it is? Like the sort of Everton thing of people going, well, because sometimes the problem is,
and I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't buy into that. That's nonsense. You can get good players from players that are further down the leagues. It's been proven so many times.
The problem is, isn't it? And I'm guilty of this. I think we're all guilty of this. Is because players that we see more frequently, and we have a bigger sample size in terms of matches we've watched because they play in the Premier League, versus players across Europe that we don't see every week, and people that say they do, they lie, right? So the people that, I'm sure some people do watch, Liga every single week, so they know what Todibo looks like at Nice, but the majority that would rave about him, they don't watch him every single week. They see the comps and they go, oh yeah, it's great. So sometimes that can work against a player, isn't it? Because we see him every week, so the fan sentiment towards him is actually, no, I don't think he's that great. I don't know. I'm not an Everton fan. I don't watch Everton all the time. Like you said, I did think coming out of the game at Old Trafford a few weeks ago, there was this real heavy praise from Man United fans, wasn't it? Going, I tell you what,
for Onana and Branthwaite.
Yeah, we reached out to that. I was sort of like,
I didn't really see in that game.
I thought they sort of, they did okay, but I'm not sure we should go. and
that's why we should buy him.
I think I'm very defensive just about players in general, because over the last couple of years, this has happened a lot to us, hasn't it? With I tell you what, he's for us. He's absolutely for us. And then we've seen that they get to Man United and you go, maybe they're not that great. Maybe they're okay. Maybe they're just that. I like the profile of player in the sense of a young player who, like you said, okay, let's see if he can make that step up. Let's see if he can develop into something.
Yeah.
He's already, being involved with the national team. So I like that. It does feel like, doesn't there? It
feels like the right progression. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels
and
like
he was at PSV. There. He was at PSV last year. And done really well on loan. Played nearly every game. So he's got it's got the trajectory of, okay, go on loan from Everton because you're young. Go and get some experience out there in Europe. Play every game for one of the biggest clubs in Holland.
It just feels like, doesn't it? Like if it was another club going for him, you'd maybe have almost a little bit more faith, because you'd go, I tell you what, okay, right. They've spotted him. He's a player, he can make that step up. It's almost because United have just been so bad with recruitment that element of trust is just not there yet. It almost requires another transfer window or a couple of transfer windows of bringing those players in and go, right, yes, they're totally the guy. I have complete faith in the Manchester United recruitment structure. And maybe that's what it is. So I don't doubt that he's on the list, because clearly, there have been so many different reports suggesting that United are interested. So I do think that interest is definitely legitimate, isn't it? And look, if you want to just scale it back a little bit more, we're getting a centre back in the summer, minimum one.
Definite.
minimum, definitely. Because Varane, his future's very much up in the air. Maguire, his future's up in the air. Johnny Evans, his contract's coming to an end. Whether or not he'll stick around.
And according to KG, KG's retiring.
Yeah, because Twitter said so. You know,
we must not laugh because maybe he still might.
He might. Clearly, he might. But there's going to be outgoings at the centre back position, isn't there? So we're going to be going after a centre back, 1, maybe 2, and I'm sure he's on that list. Do you think with Everton though? And I suppose this is kind of the issue you have. Well, maybe not so much now with PSR, but when you buy from a Premier League club, they always say, isn't it? You know, that means the price is almost doubled, isn't it? And particularly when you're Man United going to a Premier League club. But do you think now with the PSR stuff, like that's going to kind of have dissipated a little bit in the sense of like, well, you've got a sell, you know, so if a good offer does come in, you know, you've got a sell. Because a couple of years ago, it was like every Premier League club was basically wealthy. So to get someone, it was like, you can't really do anything about it. Whereas now it's a bit like, particularly in the case of like an Everton, they'll take the money. They're like, they need the money. So do you think that would be a tough negotiation?
I think it would. There is an element of like, okay, listen, mate, take what you get because you got, you know, you're getting fined. You got a new stadium. You're lucky to happy to be in the league at the minute. But, and on top of that, we're, in my opinion, well, I think we can all agree, or we're pretty sound in saying that we're going to have people who know what they're doing around the negotiating table now as well. So you have to couple that with the fact that Everton's needs. So you would like to hope that those ingredients bake the cake of a reasonable price for Jarrad Branthwaite. But he is still young. He is still English. He is still on the way up, which always comes at a premium. Whether City want to come in and buy the player, and Everton want to, you know, because they probably will stay in the league just, I think.
Yeah.
But they're getting a new stadium. But they will sell for the right price. You know what I mean? But they will also make sure they get as much money as possible. I think Jarrad Branthwaite ain't going to cost... I think you're looking at least 50 million. 40 to 50, I'm going to say.
I don't think you get him for 40 million. I'd be very surprised.
More, yeah. 50 minimum, innit, really?
It's around that number. I think if you get into the territory of like 60s, that's too high. I don't see you getting for below 40. So I think it's in that kind of range, I think.
In the chat, let us know. What do you think?
Yeah.
And do you like him?
Yeah, whether you like him or not. And to your point then, this is just a fascinating thing. This is why it does make transfers a difficult subject to discuss, I think, for fans at the moment, because we really don't know what to expect this summer. Because previously we'd go, right, we'll probably get like, I don't know, 4 or 5 signings in the summer. Every negotiation will be really long, really drawn out. There'll be so much like back and forth. We'll do like 3 offers. First 2 will be rejected. Last one will be accepted, but it'll be ridiculously overpriced. We'll do it one at a time. So we don't really do multiple negotiations at once. We'll sign one, then that, then that, then that. And it'll be literally as we've always done it. A couple of them will be once the season has started as well. Like we know the pattern. And then we'd go, and we don't even know if they're going to be any good, right? That would be that's the United playbook of transfers over the last decade. Now, I have no idea how they're going to operate. I don't know if they're going to be really quick, if they're going to be like boom, boom, boom. If it's going to be
one why offer, it's exciting, but no,
exactly, yeah. You don't know if it's going to be one offer accepted, that's done, they're in. We're going to have 3 signings by the time we go on tour in July. Like we don't know. We don't know if we're going to sign these players and go, I tell you what. That's a brilliant bit of negotiation. That price is fantastic. Oh, I can't believe we did that. Or I never heard of this guy and we've pulled that off. And like you said, there is, I mean, I guess a little bit of an expectation there of like an Omar Barada going, right, you've got some reputation. We've got some expectation on you. All right, let's see if United are going to operate any differently. The Dan Ashworth thing, look, we don't know if he's going to be in there by the time the summer comes around. I still think probably not. I think probably not with how things are sort of moving at this pace at the moment. So
he's already had a couple of months off now already, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. But, well, as Keith Downey said here on the channel, and as lots of people have said, if United want him for the summer, they're going to have to pay probably a record fee for our sporting director. And it just looks like United won't probably do that. So I don't know. But to my point previously, I have no idea what to expect from United this summer. I really, really hope that it's not like it was previously. It's not long. It's not drawn out. we're not having like the final game of pre-season and trotting out Rasmus Højlund on the pitch or like a striking signing on the pitch and be like, we've got him. Oh, and by the way, he's injured. You know, we're not doing Sofian Amrabat style player on deadline day, which have been linked to the whole window. We're like, we've got him. Oh, he's got a back injury as well. And you go, oh. we're not doing all of that. Hopefully, by the time we do get to tour, there's at least a couple of signings, not just one right before. Like
another thing is
Malacia or Mason Mount. Yeah. Like it's every time. So
no, it is. It's every
different.
Time. Another thing as well is where he fits in at United, because he's a left centre back and he's left-footed. So Erik ten Hag ain't gonna want. He definitely. I can't. Well, unless he just pivots from what we know Erik ten Hag to be. If Erik ten Hag's going to be the manager, I'm not getting into that again. But 2 left-footed centre backs who both like to play left centre back. I don't know. I don't know about that. What do you think? Does that matter?
Leach in midfield. Start that conversation again.
Oh, don't.
Leach defensive mid. Get him in midfield. Do that one again.
But do you know what I mean, though?
It's a good point.
I don't know what that looks like.
That would be typical United. That would be typical Man United, wouldn't it? Going, we don't have any left-footed players across the back line, and then suddenly we go
make them all.
We've got too many. We've got too many across the back line. I don't know.
I do prefer. You know, it's weird because people don't mind when there's 2 right-footed centre backs.
Maybe he's not the only centre back signing there, Flex. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
and maybe he's just good enough with it's like, well, yes, he's left-footed, but he's fine. Yeah. But he's fine with his right foot. Not a problem.
Yeah. Maybe it's not that deep. It's just because of Eric. He does it well. He would definitely be able to keep a left footer in the left centre back thing because that's what will happen. But yeah, very interesting.
You know what he says though? He always says he likes multifunctional players. Multifunctional. Yeah, you got to be multifunctional.
100%. David says, "Would you sell Casemiro and Eriksen for Gomez and Onana?" When you say Gomez, you mean Gomez at Everton, the Barcelona, where you play Barca, is injured all the time.
Yeah,
can't mean him. Nah, I can't. Well, I mean, no, not for Gomez. Gomez is bloody he's sick note, man, and he's all right. João Gomez at Wolves. Oh, right. I was going to say. I thought you meant Gomez from bloody Everton.
Whenever he comes on for Everton, I go, he still plays.
Yeah, and he got injured again, didn't he? He's always been out injured for ages. I remember when he first went there, I thought, he could be good coming from, but he's a good player, man. But he's had a terrible time of injuries. The Brazilian Gomez, the Wolves one, yeah. I like him. I do like him. And the Onana ones, I don't know, man.
Were you not impressed with the Belgian performance?
Yeah, he was good. He was good in that game. I see what people are saying in terms of if you couple that with Kobbie.
You can make the step up. I think when you watch him, you go, "You're too good for Everton." You can make the step up. You can see him at a top 6 club.
There's just something. I just don't think he's technically good on the ball. But I think if you I think there's someone you can get who could get around the pitch like he can, but is a bit better on the ball. I think he's a bit clumsy on the ball, but he is extremely athletic and gets about and could accompany Kobbie really well. I do agree with that. But I still want, when I'm looking at going up a level and we've got to play against sort of prime Arsenal, prime Liverpool and prime City, the technicians, and
You're thinking multifunctional again. You're going, yes, I want that ball,
mate.
I want that ball winner, but I want a bit more. I want a bit more.
I need a bit more. I don't just want a brute who can run around. So yeah. Let's see on that one. But I don't mind him. The Black Mahora says Flex doesn't think Bellingham is technically gifted. So,
Is that what you've said?
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
No.
That's what you said.
I didn't say that.
So I can't believe you said that. I mean, that's kind of crazy that you said that.
I know. Crazy.
Yeah.
Shoals Music says we need a right centre back and a starting left back. Shaw can be backup left centre back as he's too injury prone to be a starter. This is why Branthwaite might not make sense. That's interesting. Actually, yeah, because Luke Shaw, because they're saying left back's a priority, and it's like, well,
it is.
Malacia's young, yeah, it is. So, do you reckon I'd sell Luke Shaw or just keep him and he just?
I don't think Luke Shaw's going to go anywhere. I don't think so. But I don't think he
might lose his place for the first time.
Oh God, I've been saying it for months now. Like it's not. Yes, get a left back, and let's face it. if we had a left back that could have stayed fit this season, like they would be the main like left back. Luke Shaw, whenever he does come back, he'd be on the bench because we've seen what Ten Hag's like. Where it's like if someone can play for me every single week, I'll keep him, no problem. And I think that look, whether or not Ten Hag's going to be the manager, like you said, we'll park that to one side. But what we have seen with him, if he is going to be here, that when players do, I don't like to use the phrase "let him down," but when players aren't consistently available, like last season, right? He put his faith in Martial, it backfired on him. Then it was definitely like over the summer, right? I'm getting a striker. I'm not doing that again. He does kind of feel like with the Luke Shaw, it might be something a bit similar. Like he likes him, and if he's available, sure, he'll use him, but he's probably not going to put his faith in him as like he is my bona fide starting left back, because you just can't rely on him. Unfortunately, you can't do that. You know,
it goes into that thing where we've said, like, if we're going to change this team around, like the main guys that we've had for years and years, they're going to be the guys who don't start anymore. So, like,
particularly if they're not available,
especially not available. But even when they are, I'm saying it's like we need more, we need better, we need change. Like, just change it. Like, he's been there for 8-9 years now. Like, change it. Like, he hasn't been there for 8-9 years and been unbelievable every single season and been a good servant. And when he's played really well, he's played really well. But the consistency and the levels that he's managed to reach on a consistent basis haven't been there at all.
Yeah.
So change it, freshen up, so it gets to the point where, Luke Shaw is now the cover in case Martinez needs a rest. And that's decent cover.
Yeah,
That's good cover. You don't start anymore. You're not the main guy.
No, exactly.
Ugwa says, I thought Branthwaite is two-footed. Well, for me, I think he's left footed. Anytime I see him, he strikes the ball and he switches the ball across the pitch, and that he's left footed, I'd say. But he might be good with his right foot still. Have a good weaker foot. But I have him down as left footed. I don't know what you guys think, but I think he's a left footed player. But yeah, we'll see. Into midfield then. Actually striker, because we've been discussing this, didn't we? I mean, KG said he wants Ivan Toney in the Flexing KG show. He said it'd be perfect, spend the money. He wants a striker now, prime, big money. You have to understand it's Man United, so if he has to be on the bench, he has to be on the bench. He wants it. The Muppeteers and a lot of other people have been sort of saying that Man United are going to be in the market for another younger, up-and-coming striker or an older striker. Basically, somebody doesn't mind being second fiddle. But what's the report saying?
Well, I'll tell you what the report's saying in just a second. I'll tell you what the likes are saying, and they're not enough, Flex. We have nearly 1,000 people watching, less than 200 likes at the moment. We can get them up. We can rise them. We can lift them. Together, we can lift each other. Yes, it's nearly 9:30. I know it's Thursday. Sometimes on a Thursday, it's not hump day like Wednesday. The end of the week is in sight, but it's a bit like, I've got to get through today. Then it's nearly the end of the week. So you can maybe be a bit sluggish or what have you. But click the like button. It'll make you feel better, apparently. That's what I've heard, Flex. It's one of the best things to wake you up. Just click the like button. You go, I feel refreshed. Much better now.
I feel so much better.
I feel so much better already. Strikers, yes. Now, from the same report from Mike McGrath from The Telegraph, he said Manchester United are in the market for a striker to support Rasmus Højlund, and will also, interestingly, look at right backs in the summer, Flex. Interesting. Now, when it comes to the striker situation, do you know what it is? Actually, I was thinking about this morning. It's wild, really. Like, I know because we're in it every single week that you just kind of forget, but we've had one striker all season.
Yes, mental.
Like we have. I mean, I know people. Whenever I bring up Martial, some people get quite like, "Oh, don't be mean" or whatever. But we've had
one striker. Hasn't been available.
We've had one striker all season. Like that is madness. Like that is crazy. That is crazy. And our striker has been a guy that last season scored like 9 goals in Serie A, like 21-year-old. Like, that is for Man United. That is nuts. That is.
And it took him ages to get calm and get scoring. In the league.
And we have no options in that position. Like if that striker is tired, if he's injured, if he's not playing well, or you want to bring on someone else to help support him, we have no options. We have to put a guy in that position who openly says, I don't like playing in that position, in Marcus Rashford, or I'm not very good in that position. And he's playing it. Like, that is
Bruno,
crazy.
false nine.
That is nuts. Like, so, oh my God, we need a striker. And I suppose the biggest point of conversation with this, Flex, is what kind of striker do we need? Do we need someone that's very firmly, he's definitely the backup. He's not that great. He's backup. He's not on a big wage or what have you. Or do we need someone that is kind of like there and there with Rasmus Højlund and being like, actually, they probably both need to sort of push each other because we need more. You need more strength in depth. You need quality players. What kind of profile do you think we need in that position?
At the beginning, I was like, listen, we need best in class, all this stuff. I need top players here. So people should be fighting for their shirts. No one should be a shoo-in. If someone becomes available that's really attainable, who's amazing now, we shouldn't be like out of loyalty to Rasmus because of last year he's done this. Like, no, don't get this guy because it's going to stop his development. You know, I just want top players at Man United. But the more I'm seeing it transpire and I look at what Rasmus is and the future for us, I just think if we scout right, which again I'm having more confidence that we will, if we scout right, we can get the right guy, whether they're a little bit older than Rasmus and they're like 22, 23, 24, or if they're slightly older and they're like 28, 29. Like I think we can be fine either way if the profile of player is fine. I just more care about that now. I'm less like Tony's is obviously available. Would Ivan Toney be good at Man United? Yes. Is he a good striker? Yes. That money that Brentford want now, I think with the fact that they're hanging on for Premier League survival and they probably will just about stay up. And he's obviously got to go in the summer anyway. Yeah. That 100 million, it'll probably be about 60 or 70 for Ivan Toney, I reckon now. Now look, if Man United got Ivan Toney, I wouldn't be mad.
No.
But it would be a lot of money for a player who I just think he wants to be the number one guy. Now, they could say Ivan Toney's what? 28, is he? 27, 28? I think.
I was just about to look at that now. Because I think you're going into the same territory as me, which is like you do have to think long term and kind of strategic with like, okay, what we've got right now in terms of the player, we go, right, we're happy with him. He's not in his final form yet, and we've seen glimpses of what he possibly can be. Yeah. Do we want to jeopardize that for immediate right now? Do we want to jeopardize that? And it's that balancing act, isn't it?
And goals and a certified goal scorer.
Yeah.
And being 27, if you're 20, he's 28, right? So he's 28. So you could give him, he's 28, 29, 30, 31. He's going to look for a big deal. He's going to want a.
This is the one deal for him, isn't it? This is the big one.
He's going to his age and everything. Ivan's going to want a 4+1, surely for the security.
And he's not going anywhere to sit on the bench, like you said. He's not going somewhere.
He's not going anywhere to sit on the bench. But KG's thing was like he needs to know he's at Man United and do that, which I get that, but he's not going to want to come and sit on the bench. I can't see that. He needs to go somewhere. He's going to be the main man. So if United decide, English, he can score. Rasmus can learn off him because Rasmus is supposed to be the striker for the next 10, 15 years. If we flip the story, it's only because we've got these in the wrong order. If we flip the story, you'd want the guy who is the guy. It would have been Harry Kane. It would have been someone who's like 28, 29, 30, best, who's amazing. Good for now. And you've got your young understudy who's 20, who's really good. So it could work, but it's a lot of money for Ivan. I wouldn't be mad if we got him, but at the same time, I think there's a lot better value out there where you can get like a Julian Alvarez type or something.
It's a difficult one. It's a really difficult one because, like I said, I think they're trying to find that balancing act of, or having that discussion like we're having now, which is right. Do we want to get like an Ivan Toney, which, like you say, prime, ready, will score goals? Because wherever he go, he'll score goals. That's not a problem for him. Yeah. He'll score goals. You go, okay, cool, that works. But then, do we want to jeopardize, Højlund getting less games and not being the featured guy? But then, if you go with this, like, okay, we're just going to get a backup striker. Sometimes backup strikers are just bodies in the sense of when they do come on, you go, well, they're not going to do anything, or we wouldn't really start him because he's not very good. That kind of backup striker, you know what I mean? A bit like when we got Agala, we got a striker, and I know eventually Agala did score a couple goals, but you sort of go, well, that's not really what we mean by a backup, because it's like you're not confident if your starting striker does drop out the side and you start with like an Agala, you go, well, we're not really fully up strength here. You don't want the drop off to be that big, do you? So it is a challenging one. And like you said, I do think it's a good point.
He's the one.
No, I do think it's a good point. that you bring up with, like you say, with the Harry Kane situation, because to your point, the plan was for a prime ready right now and Højlund as a backup.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting to see if they go back to that plan and go, well, this was what we wanted to do anyway, so we're going to stick in this direction. Or has this season changed things because they're like, well, we didn't think Højlund was going to be this good this quickly, sort of thing. And look, maybe as well, maybe it will be how the season, plays out too. Because if Rasmus Højlund goes between now and the end of the season, doesn't score a single goal, then they might go, actually, going into next season, maybe it is going to be a bit up and down with him. If Højlund carries on the form that he had before he got injured and he's scoring goals every other game or every game, you go, yeah, we just need to get that backup one in. He's ready right now. So I do think there is going to be a wait and see approach with it as well. But it's a tough one. It's a really tough one, I think.
I think it's still a dangerous game to just say, and I love Rasmus. I think he's done so well. We can see the good bits. We can see how raw he is. We can see what he offers us. You can see the trajectory he's on. He scored some fantastic goals when he's gone on that scoring run. It's brilliant, and we've missed him so bad. But I still think it's really dangerous for a 20-year-old in his first season for us to just say, he's 100% the guy. I know we're basically doing it with Kobbie, but it's different. It feels different with Kobbie. Goal scoring is different. You to put the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis and look at our goal if we just don't score goals. We've got to get somebody who can score goals.
But that's that's not totally, but it must be stressed. That's not totally Rasmus Højlund's fault, because if Ivan Toney was in this United side during the times which no chance of being created, he's not going to score goals either.
Of course not. No, but I mean it in terms of going forward when we want to build our strike force now. Now it's about building the strike force and getting the right players. Rasmus could do no more this year. Jesus Christ, he got the whole team on his back, literally. And he came injured with a bad back. But the type of week, I just think it's dangerous to go, no, Rasmus is just so good that we need someone who's just going to only want to come on and play 10 minutes because Rasmus is the best. I'm uncomfortable with that.
That's what I said. You don't want a Gallo Weghorst.
No, exactly. Because Rasmus is just so good.
You don't want that in the sense of you've just got a body, and then when he does have to drop out the side, or when you do have to make a substitution, you kind of groan because you go, well, we know they're not good enough. So what's the point? You want to have that kind of quality that maybe he's either close to Højlund or he's a little bit below. Or, as I mentioned, you do go with this route and then go, right, he's above, and we see what Højlund can do.
Some people are saying Dominic Solanke.
I know in the past, I mean, it's not the 1990s anymore, unfortunately. But look at the Sir Alex days. He had 4 strikers in the squad. They were all good. They could all start, and they were all, So why do you just have to go with just the one? Why can't you go with 2 and see what happens?
You have to go with 2. Now, back then they played 2 up front, so you could have 4. Now you play 1 up front, so really you got to have 2, 3 tops, and the third striker's I ain't really going to play.
But then that's the thing, isn't it? Is there a massive drop off between your 1 and your 2?
Exactly, and they can't be.
Is it close? And are they interchangeable? That's again, I think that's the thing that United are going to have to try and figure out. Is we're going to sign a striker in the summer, absolutely. It's just a case of, I guess, how good and how expensive are they going to be? And United have to make that decision, don't they?
Yeah, not Callum Wilson, too injury prone. Exactly. We have to weigh that up. We have to weigh that up. And for me, I just don't want us to say that Rasmus Højlund has made it. So just get a guy who's happy to play 10 minutes here and there. That's not going to do us any good, because Rasmus Højlund is still Isak at Newcastle. Absolutely. We have to consider that Rasmus could still struggle at some points. He's still so young. And if you've got 2 young'uns in there, then they both might experience, hardships, and so you need to hang your hat on someone.
But then I suppose what people would say about an Ivan Toney is, if you sign an Ivan Toney, then you do look at a Rasmus Højlund purely for his development, and you go, how many games is he going to play then? Because Ivan Toney doesn't miss many games. His injury record's very good. He'd play a lot because he'd score a lot as well. And given the system that we got, you go, actually, then you have to ensure that.
But how much was Rasmus? How much was Rasmus going to play? If we did the plan we wanted, how much was this young kid going to play in it? He was only supposed to come in and bide his time for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, we don't
Rasmus
know.
is the guy we get our teeth into, and he could be our striker for the next 10 years. He's 20.
But again, and I think 21. But I think that's the
21, sorry.
I think that's the difference, isn't it? Is maybe people didn't anticipate him being as good as he has been right now. So when you see that, that's when you get into the territory of like again, the Kobbie Mainoo is maybe not the best example, but we're not all going like we need another midfielder to play in Kobbie Mainoo's role, and Kobbie can sit on the bench a bit more often and all that kind of stuff. We're not saying that about him, are we? Sometimes with young players, you do look at what you've got and go, okay, maybe do we have to sort of
let them
find someone to support them? And again, I think that's the conversation that they're having. And it's a difficult one with like an Ivan Toney, because like it's a bit in the vein of like a Harry Kane of just they score. Like it's not wherever he goes, whatever club he goes to in the summer. I don't think we're going to be sitting here next season going, I just can't believe you just didn't score any goals for that club this season. He just will. And it's like the same. I know people did. It's really weird this because
he has to be our penalty taker straight away.
With Harry Kane in the summer, you know, when people are going like, oh, well, actually, you know, wherever he goes, you go, no, he will score goals. It doesn't matter where he goes. Well, I don't know. Like, goes Bundesliga, it's breaking records. Because that's these players, that's what they do. So I have no doubt wherever Ivan Toney goes to score goals. I still think he probably ends up going to Arsenal, to be honest. That's the move he wants, isn't it?
You think?
He's been very vocal about it, isn't he?
I don't know.
Support Arsenal, blah, blah, blah. Particularly if they don't, well, even if they do or if they don't, but I think they might look at whatever happens this season with them. They might be like, let's say they win the league, okay, this season, Arsenal. I think they would then look at like, okay, right, City, they're going to come on strong. They're going to do this. I don't think they'll win the Champions League, Arsenal. Then they might be like, right, if we get Ivan Toney, maybe that's the next step. Maybe that's the one more we need. If they don't win the league this season, they might look at it and go, that's what we just need. We just need that. We need that striker. Let's get Ivan Toney in. I think they look at him as like a missing piece, maybe.
Yeah, I do. He is, but then because they saw that he did so well after January without buying a striker, and we're like, actually, look at the plan. Oh God, oh yeah, oh Havertz done it. They're like, oh wow, super Mick Arteta. We didn't even need a striker, you know. But do we now have to spend all that money on like Ivan Toney, or can we go and get a different type of striker?
He said that about Erling Haaland, didn't they? And I'm not saying Ivan Toney's Erling Haaland, but when they signed Erling Haaland, you know, City had won the league, and we don't really need him, do we? Yeah. And then they go win the treble because goals. You know, that's what happens.
Goals change. There's a 333 says, Flex, where is Marcel? Poor defense. Apparently, we are brats now for wanting Erik ten Hag to stay and succeed. Hope he's not poisoned by those toxic clowns. I don't know. Marcel's always here. Marcel's always defending Ten Hag. I don't know what you mean about toxic clowns, but yeah, big up to Marcel. He's always about. Shane says, morning, fellas. Based on the positions you're chatting about, what would your number one realistic targets be? It's just really hard, isn't it? Like, questions like this, questions about the actual players to go and get, I find
these are really tough. Yeah,
they're tough really because things that seem like they're realistic sometimes aren't, or you know, sometimes things you don't want can happen. Like Jarrad Branthwaite is realistic. Todibo is realistic.
But again, all of these, this is why this question is difficult, because they're based on links that are already there. Like it's very difficult to
pick one out of thin air, and we don't know.
Get this person when there's no links to, because you just never know. There's a million footballers. You know, it's really, really difficult. Because that's like, I go back to the Kim and Jay one. That's why that one almost hurt so much, because we were linked to him, weren't we, last season, and then nothing materialized. And they were like, "Oh, why didn't we get Kim and Jay?" Look,
well, it looks really close. Apparently, it was he only wants United. We heard quite a lot.
Not even that. It was a case of his release clause comes into effect for these 2 weeks, and in these 2 weeks we're going to get him. And when we didn't, I don't even think a bid went in. So, you know, it's difficult. That one is very difficult. But certainly positions you would say in the sub are centre back, left back. As they said there, right back, because you don't know what's going to happen with Wan-Bissaka, midfielder, striker. I mean, there's a lot. It's going to be a busy summer for Manchester United.
Yeah, it is very busy. Where are we at for likes and stuff now? We're at just over 1,000 people watching. 1,100 people watching now, which is good. 334. So we got the 250 in the bag. Well done, guys. Now it's time to push. We can definitely get over the 400 mark and push towards 500. Why not? Let's do that, man. Morning, fellas. But no, I've read that one already. It's from Shane. Big up to Shane. Casemiro replacement.
Yes, this is an interesting one too, coming from the same article, saying Casemiro's future and whether he stays at Manchester United will determine whether the club look for another central midfielder in the summer. So the suggestion is, Flex, that maybe going for a midfielder is not guaranteed. In fact, it hinges perhaps on Casemiro's future. What would be your prediction with Casemiro at the moment? Do you think he's gone, or is there any scenario that he does stay?
My gut's like I think he'll go. I think Ineos would try to encourage a scenario.
Well, there were those Sir Jim things. Like that was one transfer he particularly was astounded by negatively. I was like, why did you do this? Like
they will look at that and they'll be looking at it saying, if there's an inkling that we get to some interest for him, we'll entertain it straight away to explore what it would look like. I don't think they would be there definitely wouldn't be, put it this way, there definitely won't be, in my opinion, and this isn't a disrespect to Casemiro because he's scored some big goals for the rest of the season when he comes back from injury, can still have some big performances, some big moments, but there won't be a hands-off approach from Man United for Casemiro. I think if people want to pick up the phone and inquire about him, they will say, let's get a meeting in a diary, let's talk. That's what I think. I
think the only thing that will stop a Casemiro exit would be Casemiro. I think.
Yes.
I don't think it would be on the club. Exactly. I don't think the club as well would be like, this is hard and fast. This is our only price. We're letting Casemiro go for. It has to be this amount. I think they would be quite flexible with it as well. Flexible.
Yeah.
So I think it's weird because we've almost kind of forgotten a little bit. Like the last summer, that sort of Saudi movement. One day it was like, oh, the Saudi PIF, they're now in control of these like 4 clubs in the Saudi Pro League. And then it was like, boom, they're signing this player, they're signing that player, they're getting this, they're getting that. And some of these clubs then switched on and went, whoa, oh my God, like they're selling, they're buying people. Oh, we wouldn't have been able to get rid of this player. Now we can get rid of him. Oh, my goodness me. And Casemiro does feel like he's fallen into that category, doesn't he? And I suppose because of the link to like Ronaldo, then you go, wow, I could see him going, joining up with him.
You can see him going there.
So he does fall into that category. And I guess you hear the reports of journalists that are pretty close to like the Saudi Pro League, someone like a Ben Jacobs, who does seem to know what's going on in that league and the way that works. And obviously you did the piece on Sky last year saying about how they kind of operate a bit differently. Like it's not done at like an individual club level. It's done like a Saudi Pro League level. Let's buy the player.
These are the players we want to bring and divvy him out.
And we'll divvy him out. So you're going to go get Casemiro. Okay. And you go, okay. Right. So like, that's how it kind of works for them. So I do think like an offer will come. And I think
there's a new quota. There's a new quota this year. They've done their quota.
I think it's just upon him about what he wants to do. Like he's got a contract. If he wants to stay, he wants to stay. And he might think, oh, actually, I still want to give it another go in Europe before I go away to the Saudi Pro League. Or he might just go, no, actually, cool. I'm off. That's fine. No problem.
2 years at Man United.
Because the same guy said, oh, don't worry, I'm going to come here. I'm going to fix it. He didn't have to leave Real Madrid. It must be stress too. Like. They were happy for him to be on the bench like last season, but he kind of saw the writing on the wall because he saw these younger players play and he saw like the Camavingas and Tchouaménis and he went, I'm not really going to be playing that much actually, so I'm off. And it's just a case of, whatever he wants to do. But I do think an offer will come. I don't think United will stand in the way. Definitely not.
They definitely won't. If the right money comes in, he's gone. If again he does, because he might say, because it has to be the right money for him as well. He might say, I ain't going to leave to be on less. I'm on a hefty contract here. I'm on 350k a week, mate. So, and I got 3 years. I got 3 years left. Bloody hell! Just a bit
of news that's
breaking news.
No, I don't want to press it. It's not really breaking.
No, it's not really breaking.
And every time I press it, we get complaints. Flex. It's too long.
Yeah, it's too long.
But that's the point. Fabrizio Romano has tweeted in the last couple of seconds. We're talking about centre backs, Branthwaite, etc. One of the other names being linked to United is Jean-Claude Todibo. He has said he understands Jean-Claude Todibo will be valued at OGC Nice for around £40 million for the summer transfer window. He was already on Man United's list since last summer, but more clubs in the Premier League and not only keep monitoring him. The French international and Nice vice captain could be on the move. And to be honest, we're talking about how much would Branthwaite be worth. And this is why people do look outside of the Premier League and across Europe, don't they? Because they go £40 million.
Yes,
that's a snip. That is a
buy
snip.
him.
Is the risk though with this?
No, buy him.
No. I mean, is the risk not necessarily the player, but kind of the circumstances? Because we're doing very much at the moment with like UEFA, like we're not affiliated with Nice. It's been too soon. There's no cross pollination there. Blah blah blah. If we then go to Nice and buy a player, let's say it was for even less, £35 million, would they be like,
Chips and pennies around?
what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on?
But listen, Owen, do it now at the beginning. Do it now.
Logically, we're going to have first refusal. You would think, like, you know,
Sir Jim's going to make out. Sir Jim owns the player.
Yeah, exactly.
It's his player.
But then, do United have to be a bit like careful where they're like at a time in which they're trying to ensure, look, there is no link in the same way, like when a player does go from Salzburg to Leipzig and they go, but you're RB and these players do jump like, you know, like a Haaland, blah, blah, blah. And they go, well, what's going on there? And they go, yeah, we're not linked there. It's fine. Yeah.
Well, the same way how everyone else does it. Still do it. Still happens, doesn't it? Whatever the paperwork you need to circumnavigate the situation to all these shit rules that they are in place, but you can always just send an email.
But that's what it's going to be, isn't it? That's what it's going to be. It's going to be one of those ones going, no, we paperwork, no problem. Fine, done. And then you go, but you just signed for not that much money.
Yeah, mate. The point we need to use what's at our disposal, and that is at our disposal. Todibo is at Nice. As it stands, they still own Nice. They are putting paperwork in place should both get to Europa League / whatever.
It's not going to be a problem. It's more the Europa League, isn't it, the problem? Because it looks like Nice is going to be in the Europa League. We might still get in the Champions League. So
it might not be. It might even not be a thing. But you know, you at the beginning of these situations, you have to use what you have at your disposal. Use the powers, and if you've got powers to make it, I'm not saying make it so bloody hell we only have to pay 20 million for him because his back, you know, pay the money, but 40 million, mate. It's probably about right anyway. Just pay it.
As Show points out here, I did see this the other day. There's a player, I think his name, as Show saying, is like Savio or something like that. And even that is so crazy. Like he signed for a club owned by the City Group, was loaned immediately to Girona, I think. And then he's never played for the club he's actually owned by. And he's already agreed to go to Man City. And it's like, you know, so...
Watford do it all the time with Udinese.
Yeah.
Just was playing. I mean, Udinese just bought a guy. Oh, he's going to go on loan for Watford the rest of the season, or vice versa, and they send players back, and you know, then fans can get angry because they're like, "You're not actually buying us anyone. You're not." Yeah, but also it can work in your favor if the players are really good and you can get them for cheap prices.
Yeah,
multi-club model, mate. That's why it exists. That's why it's not illegal to have a multi-club model. It's not illegal.
No, it's not. It's not illegal. But I guess that's why the Premier League are trying to implement those rules about purchasing players from an affiliated club. Exactly, because it does need to be addressed. Absolutely, does need to be addressed. But 40 million
whilst it hasn't been addressed yet, right? And it's something, go and get Jean-Claude Todibo.
Yeah, 40 million quid. That is a snip, isn't it? An absolute snip.
And that's the type of profile / price as well that you're saying that we need to kind of, 40 million, next one up. If Branthwaite costs 40 million, we'd be behind that as well, kind of thing, between 40 and 50. The next one's up.
Branthwaite ain't costing 40 million. He's costing.
But I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying, if he did, we'd be behind it. Like, those are the prices. But that's why when you get out of the Premier League, you start getting more value for your buck.
I did, and I saw something with Todibo, with Nice, with like their ultras. This was a few weeks ago. Like they were a bit unhappy with him because they're like, if you want to leave, then just leave, kind of thing. Because it's very clear, like he's off in the summer.
He's gonna go.
I mean, I think his head was probably turned last summer. Once those links to like United started to happen, and let's face it, Flex. I mean, you know this. If we had the financial capabilities last summer, we probably would have signed him or someone else, another centre back. Like those links to Pavard were very, very real, very real. And had we sold Maguire and if we had a bit more financial wiggle room, we would have got either like a Todibo or a Pavard. Like that was definitely the plan. So he's very much on that list, on that list. And now the Nice links, and he wants out. 40 million quid. That would be one of those ones. If you go, right, if that is that defined, 40 million pounds, and you know that price, there is no reason why that can't be wrapped up like by the end of the season, early pre-season. But why can't that one? That seems like a very straightforward, quick, easy deal to do, does it not?
Yeah, it does. That's what I mean. You're talking about executions of deals and how quickly you can do it. Boom. Easy.
Yeah.
You're in the same group. Ineos, you know, Sir Jim, Sir Dave Brasswood. These are the guys, and then Jean-Claude Blanc. Those are the guys who deal with the stuff at Nice. Now, obviously, they got to relinquish the day-to-day. I don't know who the...
That's what I mean.
It'd be interesting to know, just for our own... We don't really have to care, but I might do some digging into that. Who have they relinquished? Who's now in charge at Nice? Are they still doing everything right now, like Jean-Claude Blanc and that, or not?
I don't know. I think
who does it now?
Yeah, I think like they were sort of saying. I mean, they've already got those reassurances from UEFA, haven't they? Like, okay, it's not going to be a problem or anything like that. And even that, I think, was a bit of a storm in the teacup, because not being to be too big-headed or braggadocious about it, but UEFA are not going to kick Manchester United out of any European competition that they're in. Like, United are just too big to do that, you know, over an issue that affects many clubs, like multi-club ownership. Like, it's not going to happen. Like you said, I think it would just be a situation of like, okay, sign this paperwork, say that you've relinquished day-to-day control. Yes, your company owns this club still, but you're not totally involved, blah, blah, blah. It must be stressed, though. I think the reason they're trying to, and this is just a multi-club ownership thing, just broadly, I think the reason they're trying to figure it out is because they haven't had that like situation yet where in like a big Champions League quarterfinal, semi-final, these two clubs have faced off against each other. Like, if it was a situation where it was like RB Leipzig versus RB Salzburg in a Champions League final, semi-final, quarterfinal, people would be looking at that going, what is going on? And maybe they've been a bit like lucky in the sense of that hasn't happened yet, but it's coming.
But even if that's coming, it's like, well, as long as the rules are the rules, whatever, you know, it's not illegal to have multi-club things, but they're just saying they definitely can't be in the same competition, though. They are saying that, aren't they?
Well, yeah.
But there's rules where they can.
There's rules where they can. And again, and it is logical because, like, let's face it, if Sir Jim Ratcliffe, like, he owns Nice and he's a minority owner at Manchester United, and he hopes one day to become the full owner of Manchester United. If United play Nice in the Champions League quarterfinal, it's to his benefit that Man United would win that one because they're the bigger club, you know, and he would look at it going, well, that's my bigger investment. You would want your biggest investment to be successful, wouldn't you? Because it would make you more money. So, you know, you can say, oh, I don't care. They're both my assets. I don't care who wins, but you go, but you do.
Yeah, you do care. You do care. You do. You want to go as far as you can. Ashodu says, it's not illegal, Flex, but we need to be careful of fair value and transfer pricing rules. Todibo is a good profile player to evolve Man United, though. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. We have to. I'm not saying break the rules. I'm not saying do 115 charges and don't worry about it.
Well, again, that's my point I'm making out. Like, if Nice,
we do have to be careful.
If it came out that someone offered Nice 45 million for Todibo, and they went, oh no, we've sold him to United for 30 million, you would go, well, that doesn't seem very right.
Exactly. You know? But as long as we're paying the value of what he is and stuff like that, and we pay the money, and you know, and we make sure that we, you know, adhere to any rules so we don't get 115 charges. You know, I mean, we don't want that. But I agree. And just lastly, Gareth Southgate had some positive things to say about Kobbie. We're not going to go into Gareth Southgate talking about it. We're just going to talk, Owen, just about what he said about Kobbie. And hopefully that doesn't anger you.
No, it's fine. He said, we're talking about Kobbie Mainoo. He said, we saw that there was fearless to come in and the technical ability to receive when pressed, to find a pass, to manipulate the ball in tight areas. It gives us a profile of player we haven't got. That's hugely exciting. He also said he has the raw attributes of being able to receive under pressure, which we haven't had in many midfield players in the time we've been in charge. He can become that sort of player ultimately. So he's very full of praise.
Yeah,
the technical ability of Kobbie.
I mean, we've been doing it all international break, so you know, some people are getting a bit worried. Don't overgas him. Let Kobbie breathe. But the final sort of say on that is, say what you want about Southgate, 100%. But he's basically saying, let's be honest, mate. Since I've been there, yeah,
he said,
he gives us something we do not have.
Yeah,
he gives us something that since I've been here, I've not seen.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he said. It's just a question now, I think, with Kobbie is, does he start when he goes to the Euros? That's the question. Yeah. The question's changed. It's not a case of if he goes, he's going. It's just a case of now, does he start? How involved is he? Because he is on the plane. He's going to Germany, no doubt.
Yeah, mental. Guys, thank you for joining us on United View this morning. Thank you for the morning show. 393 likes. We can get to 400 on the way out. That's fine. I know we're not going to get to 5, but we'll definitely get to over 4. Big up to you guys. What have we got coming? We've got the preview for Manchester United's trip to the G-Tech Stadium. to face Brentford on Saturday night. 8 o'clock kickoff. Oh, 8 o'clock kickoff.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Disgraces and cheats. So yes, we will have Ivan Toney joining us for a preview. So make sure you don't.
Very good.
Easy. Should have saved that one for a couple of days actually. We won't have Ivan Toney joining us for a preview. It'll be me and Owen doing the preview. So yes, watch out for that tomorrow. Of course, morning show, and of course, episode. I'm gonna say 9 of the Trinity. 8.
Well, you've also missed that What the Devil coming today as well.
And What the Devil today at 6 p.m. as well. How could I miss that? United District and the boys will be fuming with me for that. That's at 6 o'clock. So much to come. And what episode would it be, Aaron? 8? Episode 8 of the Trinity.
I think it's 9.
Oh, Dangor.
I know. Did you see that? Yeah.
Oh, okay. We need to let KG know.
We'll save it for tomorrow.
Yeah, because there's no way he's going to know from then till now, is he?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, maybe we can get Dangor on the show.
That's my hope. That's my hope. One day.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. He's injured, man. Big up to Dangor, wishing him a speedy recovery as well. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next show. Take care. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, Flex, you missed a super chat as well from Shahil.
Oh, sorry, Shahil. Hi, guys. What do you think about selling Greenwood and getting João Felix to replace him? I personally think he would suit our attack with Højlund. I liked João Felix last year. I've always liked João Felix, but I just don't think that one's ever going to happen.
No, I think his dream was the Barca move, wasn't it?
The Barca, and he got it. Yeah. And he got it. Yeah. So, I can't see that happening. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next show. Take care. Peace.